God help anyone that actually plays the drinking game because you will die of alcohol poisoning. Another thing that you drink for is sometimes when flames shoot out something. Uh, is a lot of drinking going on in the drinking game. Uh, Please, if you do play the drinking game, play it responsibly, or you will end up with alcohol poisoning. I promise. And now I'm going to talk about a extremely underrated zombie film called Hell of the Living Dead. Uh, this kind of has aspects of a cannibal film and with a zombie film and kind of a uh, toxic waste and toxic energy and nuclear energy kind of PSA elements to it. Uh, and this is all. It almost feels like a loose sequel to Dawn of the Dead, so much so that music from the Goblins that was in Dawn of the Dead is recycled and used in this film. And I thought that was very interesting. Even the uniforms that the squad wears that are after the zombies look identical to the squad uniforms that were in Dawn of the Dead, and that's why I say it feels like a loose sequel to Dawn of the Dead. It's like this. It's like a standalone movie in the Romero universe that takes place after Dawn of the Dead or during Dawn of the Dead, in my opinion, and that's what makes it cool. It's got classic goblins music in it, classic zombies, great gore effects. Definitely worth your time and money. Definitely worth checking out. It's another great addition to the zombie library. And I don't believe I've talked about this one yet. And this one definitely blends elements of a cannibal film with a zombie film. And zombies and cannibals, they kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. And this is a great example of that. This is Zombie Holocaust, also known as Dr. Butcher MD. I like the Dr. Butcher MD title of it better because that's more accurate. This movie has cannibals, mad scientists, and zombies. Uh, cool movie, great gore. Zombie makeup's great Italian zombie makeup. Um, just another great movie. And this is another personal favorite of mine. Again, I'm going to say extremely underrated. Uh, but I mean, most to this I could see nowadays most people being laughable just because of the zombie makeup. But I think that's part of what makes it cool. It's retro, it's classic zombies. The makeup is definitely outlandish. The characters outlandish. The storyline's outlandish. But that's what makes it great. This is definitely an adult zombie movie. The blood's great. The gore's great. I love the zombie makeup. I love the storyline. Definitely worth your time and money. Check it out. And we're going to get to the Dead Next Door now. This is a low budget movie. It stood in VHS hell for a long time before finally being released on DVD by Tempe Entertainment and Anchor Bay in a wide release. Not bad for a low budget zombie film. In fact, Bruce Campbell does an overdub for one of the voices, hilariously enough. Definitely worth checking out. A great low budget zombie film from Ohio. And talk about zombies from down under right now. This is Undead, which I believe this was an Australian film. Again, kind of takes elements from the Plan 9 aspect of aliens and stuff like that. I was kind of disappointed by this overall. It's a decent zombie film, but I think it was a little overrated. But if you're looking for a decent zombie film to watch and you've seen a lot of these others, check it out. This is a classic zombie film, Astro Zombies. And I mean, that's essentially all it is. It's space zombies. Classic B movie, classic lines. Features John Carradine and Wendell Corey. I mean, it's what can I say? It's an interesting movie, and it's worth at least one viewing within your lifetime. And this is Let the Sleeping Corpses Lie, also known as The Living Dead in Manchester Morgue. This is a very gothic zombie film in certain points of the film. The zombies are great. very like a corpse coming back to life. Uh, Very dark and gothic in some aspects, as I said already. Uh, it's just a strange film overall, from the start to finish. And again, this is one of those zombie films I'm going to recommend that you check out. If you've seen just about everything else but this, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a classic. And again, going to zombie films from down under, and most people probably know about this by now. This is Peter Jackson's Dead Alive. This is one of his earlier films, his goriest film, one of the goriest zombie films of all time. And I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this at least once or twice before. It's more commonly known, well, it's known overseas as Brain Dead, Dead Alive. This is not the complete uncut version. This is a great film. I love it. It's one of the best zombie movies ever made. It's certainly the goriest zombie movie ever made, if not the goriest movie of all time. Definitely worth your time and money. Definitely worth checking out. I'm sure I'll mention it again at some point. Back to D'Amato. This is Porno Holocaust. And this is, again, I've talked about this before, one of the few films to blend horror and pornography. And this one's more pornography than horror. But it's bizarre. It's just bizarre. And I'm going to go as out to say it's not the greatest movie I've ever seen. Just the sheer novelty of what it is what makes it strange and interesting. And the fact that it's still being talked about even today. And another D'Amato film. This is more horror than pornography. But this is Erotic Nights of the Living Dead. Again, just the sheer novelty that this exists is, enough reason to mention it. And it's classic Joe D'Amato. And I'm going to mention a few more D'Amato films, and again, I've mentioned these at length. The Anthropophagus Beast, Man-Eater, or The Grim Reaper, whatever title you want to know it by. One of my favorite horror films of all time, worth checking out. And again, the slightly worse but equally admirable sequel, Horrible Anthropophagus 2, Absurd. It's known by many, many titles, and it doesn't enhance the quality of the film at all. But that's why I like this film. It's so bad, it's glorious.